Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Indy, and today we're going to review a non-indie game. That's right, we're going to review Resident Evil Village. In this new installment to the Resident Evil franchise, we once again see ourselves as Ethan Winters. Instead of searching for his wife, this time Ethan is in search for his daughter. The big question though, will Village live up to Resident Evil 7's success? Resident Evil Village is certainly an amazing game to look at. As soon as the game picks up, you get Resident Evil 4 vibes. Honestly, and I've seen people already state this, but the game feels like a mix between 4 and 7, which in my opinion is great. It even brings back the classic briefcase storage system, which I think we all love. I find incredibly easy to use, and not once found myself hurting for extra space. Speaking of extra space, this go around there is a merchant called the Duke, who will sell you gun upgrades, supplies, crafting recipes, and will cook you dishes from animals you gather to upgrade Ethan. While it's not an RPG, you do get these moments where you're like, are they about to start making this an RPG in the future? By now, everyone knows you're being hunted by this giant vampire lady with a big old booty. If you haven't, then you probably haven't been interested in purchasing the game. While this is the main focus in the trailers, the game is more centered around the village, hence the title. You're going to find yourself scrounging around in a place that is filled with obstacles and puzzles. Some of these will make you wonder if you're missing something, but more than likely you'll have to come back to them later. That is what is very interesting to me about the game. How big is it overall? It felt massive as I played it, but once I sat back and looked at it, I realized the confusing map is what makes it feel that way. The map would have to be my biggest gripe of the game. It's hard to distinguish what is what, and it had me looking at it way too much. If the map is your biggest gripe though, then the game must be good though, right?
I've been waiting for so long. I'd make a much better daughter than Rose. Please, won't you stay with me forever?
What?
While the game does a great job of keeping you lost and in suspense, it wouldn't be a Resident Evil game without puzzles. You're not going to be haunted by these in your sleep, but there was one that stumped me early in the game. I told my wife I know it's something simple that I'm overlooking, and now I'm overthinking it. The hint, make sure you examine all items you pick up. Other than that, the puzzles are pretty much a breeze. I did, however, love the labyrinth puzzles. In order to even access them, you have to find this ball that you maneuver within the puzzle. They are awesome and very rewarding once you complete them. Once again, shooting baddies is a staple of Resident Evil, and once again, we find ourselves back in the first person. I think this will be the norm moving forward with these games. So it's official, Resident Evil games are now first-person shooters. I'm just joking, a little bit. There should be little complaints, if any, about the gunplay, as it's pretty much set the standard now. From a pistol to a shotgun to a grenade launcher, you feel the impact of these weapons. The aiming and accuracy of where you shoot is always on point. Just make sure you hit your target because ammo can get scarce at times, and Duke does run out of stock.
Well then, feel free to peruse.
I do find the direction Resident Evil is heading in very interesting. Long gone are the days of mindless zombies chasing us through a mansion or down dark alleyways. More and more we are seeing different types of monsters and villains. The supernatural element is front and center with Village, and it only grows as the game goes on. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Only time will tell if this new direction will help broaden the universe, or will it damper the great horror aspect of the games before it. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Village isn't scary, or that it doesn't bring the horror. Heck, during the beginning, there are some very tense moments, probably with all them lichens chasing you. Towards the end, I didn't feel the same way. That doesn't mean the end was bad, on the contrary. The end, in my opinion, was fantastic, and perhaps it pushed us in an all-new direction of Resident Evil games. Resident Evil Village, I feel, is pushing us in a new direction, whether we want it or not, and that's a good thing. The game is great and looks absolutely amazing. The villains are creepy and very dangerous. Each new location breathes life into the game, and the puzzles are just tough enough to slow you down a little. Although nothing is as tough as Ethan's hands. Good lord, that poor guy takes a beating. There really isn't much to complain about here. The map is probably my only issue with the game. The setting in the village is perfect, and the addition of Duke was so welcoming that I hope they can keep something like him moving forward. If you love Resident Evil games, especially 4 and 7, then you're going to absolutely love this one. I played Resident Evil Village on the PS4 Pro. Speaking off cuff a little bit here, I can see why a lot of people are naming Resident Evil Village a Game of the Year contender. It's a great game, it looks fantastic, the gunplay is awesome. It's a Resident Evil game, it really is. The story is fantastic, the villains are great. There's not a lot of negatives you can say about this game. Everything works very well. The RPG elements that they've added in the game, Duke, having the crafting the items in your menu, and gathering animals and stuff in the game to have Duke whip them up was fantastic, and was actually fun to search them out and stuff. There's a lot of things to actually do in this game and keep you busy. I found the runtime is probably going to be about 8 to 11 hours. I think I beat it in a little under 11 hours. I've seen some people push it even to like 15 hours. And I think that's, you know, that's not a bad thing. The game really is great. I loved it. Whether I couldn't say that if it's my Game of the Year contention yet, but it's definitely probably going to be in this discussion at the end of the year. So if you love Resident Evil games, I'm sure you're going to love this one very much. You should play it. I'm sure you've probably played it already. So I don't know why you're checking this review out. But if you are, and you enjoyed the review, please give it a thumbs up. I will leave a link to all our Twitters, as usual, and our website. And thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, as always, Indie On Brah.
Ah, my apologies.